Welcome to OPENBOX Education. In this video, I am going to explain about comparative characteristics of resistor, inductor and capacitor. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and share to your friends. So here it is the table which gives that comparative characteristics of a resistor, inductor and capacitor. So the first parameter is unit. For the resistor it is ohm. For capacitor it is farad. And for inductor it is given as Henry. And the next parameter is impedance. So when you are representing that impedance, which will contain two parts, the first part will be the real part and the second part will be the imaginary part. So the resistance value will be represented in real part and the reactance value will be represented in imaginary part. So here the reactance of the capacitor is given as XC, that equal to 1 by omega C, and for inductor the reactance value is given as XL equal to omega L. And generally the resistor will dissipate the energy, but the capacitor and inductor will store the energy. And the energy power is given as I square R for resistor, and for capacitor it is given as 1 by 2 CV square, where C is the capacitance in farad and V is the voltage across the capacitor. And for inductor it is given as 1 by 2 Li square, where L is the inductance value of the inductor and I is the current flowing through that inductor. The definition of the resistance is given as R equal to V by I, and for the capacitor it is given as C equal to Q by V, and for the inductor it is given as L equal to Vi by Di by dt. So these are the definitions of resistor, capacitor and inductor. So generally DC current or AC current, that will be limited by the resistor. So that is why we will call a resistor as a current limiting device. But when you are going for the capacitor, for the DC current it acts like a open circuit, and for AC current it acts like a short circuit. And it will be quite opposite for inductor. For DC current, the inductor acts like a short circuit, and for AC current it acts like a open circuit. And the resistor allows that the sudden change in current or voltage, but that will not be happen for capacitor and inductor. If there is a sudden change of current, then the capacitor allows that current, but for inductor which will not allow the sudden change of current. And coming to this, the sudden change of voltage, the capacitor will not allow the sudden change of voltage, but the inductor allows that the sudden change of voltage. And when you are connecting the two resistors in series, then the resultant resistance value is given as R1 plus R2. And for capacitor, if you are connecting two capacitors in series, then we can represent that the resultant capacitance value as C1 C2 by C1 plus C2. And for inductor, when you are connecting the two components in series, then the resultant value is given as L1 plus L2. And if the two resistors are connected in parallel, then the resultant resistance value is given as R1 into R2 by R1 plus R2. And for the capacitor, if the two capacitors are connected in parallel, then the resultant capacitance value is given as C1 plus C2. And for inductor, if the two components are connected in parallel, then the resultant inductance value is given as L1 into L2 by L1 plus L2. And we can test these components, that is resistor, capacitor and inductor, by using a ohm meter. And the common problem in resistor, which may be either short circuited or open circuited. And for the capacitor also, the common problem is it may be either short circuited or open circuited. And for the inductor, the common problem is which will be that open circuited. And now coming to this construction, the resistor will be constructed by using carbon or graphite material. And for the capacitor, we will use conductors and dielectric materials. And for inductor, just we will use a simple conductor coil. And coming to this color code, for the resistor, capacitor and inductor, the color code will be existed. That is, we can define the capacitance value or inductance value or resistance value by seeing their color codes. And coming to these applications, we can use this resistor as a current limiting device. And for capacitor, generally it blocks the DC, and we can use as a coupling capacitor, or we can use this capacitor as a bypass capacitor, and we can use this capacitor for filtering the AC signals. And it is also used as temperature compensation device in circuits. And this capacitor is used to store that electrostatic energy. And coming to this inductor, it is used to store the magnetostatic energy to block high frequency currents and to pass the DC currents. So for this purpose we will use this inductor. So this is about the comparative characteristics of resistor, capacitor and inductor. Thank you very much for watching this video. To watch more videos, please subscribe to my channel OPENBOX Education.